For years now, the radical left has wanted to play a dangerous two-faced game. They want us to believe they want to unify and progress America together and that they really want us to all get along. All the while, they want to curse at us and call us ignorant. It's time to stop pretending. The radical left hates conservatives. This is the Closet Conservative Podcast. It was earlier this week that news came out about Press Secretary Jen Psaki going after Fox News and Peter Doocy. She accused Fox News of feeding questions to Doocy in a podcast. And initial reports were talking about how Doocy and Jen Psaki was apparently calling him a stupid son of a, and you can fill in the blank. It was based on how the question was asked. Now, Psaki didn't deny it. She didn't say that it wasn't the case. She just chose to attack Fox News instead, saying that they were feeding him questions and essentially attacking Doocy's intellectual ability. Well, that certainly wasn't the first time that Doocy has been called this name. And the show hosts were playing off that. We know that at this point. You no doubt remember President Biden called Doocy that on a hot mic. Doocy was asking a question about inflation, to which Biden responded with the statement. He called him, "What a stupid son of a," and again, fill in the blank. Biden later called to apologize, as did Psaki publicly after the reports of her podcast statements came out. She tried to backpedal and say this wasn't the case. This was not what she was trying to do. But let's get real here. It's time to stop pretending like the radical left really wants to get along. We can simply look back at things they do day in and day out and see that. Just last October, Jen Psaki said that unvaccinated Americans were the reason that Biden's agenda was failing. Yes, those conservative Americans that chose freedom over submission were the reason that Biden's anti-American agenda was not working. And before that, they celebrated when those on the conservative side had negative things happen. They celebrated when Steve Scalise was shot in Washington at the congressional baseball game. They were celebrating on Twitter openly, laughing about it, calling him a fascist, and saying that he deserved to die. They celebrated when Rand Paul was attacked by one of his neighbors. They celebrated that violence. They thought it was hilarious. And they even laughed when a beheaded image of Donald Trump was put on TV by comedian Kathy Griffin. They openly call for the silencing of conservatives on social media. They celebrate the fact when Twitter bans someone, shadow bans someone, when Facebook bans them, they think it's great. They have openly called for conservatives to be forced into submission or exiled from the nation. And that's coming from congressional representatives on the left. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants conservatives to be forced onto a registry. She wants them to have to be forced into submission, to comply, to even be able to do anything they want in this nation. The radical left have said that conservatives should not be allowed to speak out in public. They've called openly for restrictions on religion and other things that matter to conservatives, things that conservatives hold dear. They have called us domestic terrorists. They've called us enemies of the state. They have said we are not fighting to defend the Constitution and we are the reason for the downfall of America. They have openly called for the conservatives deplorable. They call us a racist. They call us bigots. And they call us any other derogatory term they can imagine, including stupid sons of a blank. Not because they have proof that we're racist, bigots, or any of these other terms that they want to use, but because they want to continue to create division and disruption in our society. Now, I want to ask you a question. Now, let's just be honest. Knowing all that the radical left has done, knowing all the celebrations they have done, knowing all the things they've said, all the actions that they have taken, all these celebrations at the expense of conservatives, name one thing that is just screaming the idea that they want to get along. Name one thing that is suggesting they want to be unified, that they want us to get along, that they want to proceed together into being Americans. They want to unify our nation. Name just one. I'm still waiting. Go ahead. Name just one. And I don't hear anyone. I don't hear anything because there isn't one. There isn't anything there. There's nothing about this that screams that they like anyone on the conservative side. There's nothing that says they want to get along with anyone. Instead, it tells the story that they simply want to eliminate us from society. They hate us. They hate conservatives, and it's time for us to stop pretending that they don't. It's time for us to stop even pretending like they want anything to do with conservatives. It's time to stop pretending like they want us to exist in society. It's time to stop pretending that they want to exist in unity with us. It's time to stop pretending they want to share our country with us. It's time to stop pretending they care. You see, across the country, Republicans are pandering for votes of the moderates. And it's not all Republicans, but the vast majority of them, even those that the conservatives want to celebrate as our Trump Americans and America's first, some of them are still pandering. They want to stop holding true to their values and positions because they believe they can be a little bit moderate and win an election. They believe that they can pander a little bit to the radical left, and they believe they can win an election coming up in the fall. And not that they're going to do anything different. They just want to stay in office. I mean, after all, we've learned this, or we should have learned this by now, that the majority of the people in Congress are not interested in serving in the interest of the American people. They're just interested in staying in office. They're interested in earning that high salary, in the benefits, and living in their lavish lifestyles in Washington, living in the moment where they can go on a podcast and make a clear statement or a simple statement and get their 5 seconds of fame. That's what AOC's doing. And about every 3 to 4 months, she goes out and says something stupid and makes her 5 minutes of fame. Instead, Republicans should be taking firm positions, just like the radical left. And we should let the moderates in the middle choose. Either they choose to hold true to American values and choose a side, or they choose not to. At the end of the day, there's no one on the left that cares for conservatives at all. So why are we pandering with the mindset to win an election? It's time for those on the conservative side to start building and leading. Let's get back to the truth of being an American. Let's get back to being focused on freedom, family, faith, and all the things that made our country great from the start. This is not about eliminating anyone from society. This is not about kicking the radical left out into the curb. This is about taking a stand for the truth and what's right in our society. It is time to stop being led around by the 3% of special interest that the radical left wants us to hold us hostage to. It's time to start leading again as Americans, united with a focus on freedom and how great this nation really is. Because no matter what they want to say, America is an exceptional nation. We're a great nation. One nation under God. It is time to stop pretending like the radical left cares and move along in what we know is the right direction. They can get on board with the plan if they want. Otherwise, we should let them fall into the minority just like we know they are. Again, it is time for us to start leading as Americans, united, one nation, under God, and indivisible by the petty and stupid actions of anyone on the radical left that wants to destroy anyone that's a conservative. All material is copyright The Closet Conservative Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and share our podcast with your friends. You can find out more information about our show on any of our social media channels.